Now it's time for setup of the Functions API. The Functions API can be set up with the usage of the Scores API and without the usage of the Scores API. Two API management maybe do not make sense in this situation. In this case we will use the Scores API, and the setup follows the same procedure as in the other setups. We have to ensure that the environment variables were set right, and especially in this case we have to choose which kind of setup we want to run. So we just insert one of these two options inside our environment file and save it. Then we have to start the bash script in the folder, enable it, and the bash script will set up the actions, the needed sequences, and also the API inside functions, which is based on openwhisk, the serverless solution inside IBM Cloud. Also it creates an API. This API is based on IBM Connect, so what we already did, but this is called IBM Light Management. So as you can see, we can verify the steps of the bash script inside a log file, following the same procedure as in the other setups. Now we verify the installation on IBM Cloud. We open Functions. We ensure that we are in the right space, in the right region, and then we can see the actions and the sequences were uploaded and installed, and the API is also created. It looks similar to the other installation without the catalog and the product. So now we can examine the API and the usage of the API, and now we'll take a look at the definition of the API. During the configuration, a special thing happens. I cannot change everything directly to the right values for the upload of the API. Some remaining information about credentials of the old instances is still in the template. So by changing the binding of the API to different actions, we ensure that new credentials are stored inside the configuration file for the API, and we can directly use then the API Explorer and call an operation. So we can say try it, and when we say call operation, we get the expected return value. The created API we will use inside our web application. So we have to save the API URL, the gateway URL for our web application. So we copy this URL and save it inside our environment file. So you can get the URL directly from here and copy it and save it inside the environment configuration. So now we're done, and we can move on to the web app.